for no one. No one but me.
We dance to the drums of war, and all our hearts beat as one.
Beyond the Bandlewood is here, and it looks like it's going to be one of the most exciting expansions to date, with so many new champions and a new region, Bandle City, with a large number of yordle champions. This expansion is also introducing dual region cards, which will also provide so much kind of flexibility when creating decks in the future. With all the new cards, it can be kind of scary to know where to start with deck building when the new expansion is released. This video is going to look at the 5 best decks to try on day 1 of the new expansion. This is Best New Decks Beyond the Bandlewood Expansion. The data presented here is analysed by BomberTV using MOBA analytics. He's a Masters tier player with a background in game theory and game design. He took the most winning archetypes into Master tier, excluding ones with small play rates, analysed their key properties on why they are so strong. Link to his channel is in a pinned comment and in the card above. Please remember to like and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications too. So let's dive in. This is Caitlyn Teemo and features cards primarily from Piltover and Zorn, but with some support from Bandle City too. It has a lot of cards that work towards combos early on, with a huge majority of cards costing 3 or less mana. The deck's quite expensive to build, with 7 epic cards needed. This deck is basically a combo deck looking to stall the game long enough so your traps and Caitlyn can snowball out of control, and we need a game. Caitlyn works around the new Flash Bomb trap, which deals 1 damage to a random ally. You're looking for cards that create board presence whilst also working towards your main goal of increasing the amount of traps in the enemy deck, so something like Puff Cap Pup or Chump Bomb is perfect. Puff Cap Pup creates 3 poison Puff Caps, that's actually really hard to say, on strike, and Chump Bomb creates 2 Mushroom Clouds in the hand when summoned. Then you want to shuffle cards into the enemy deck, so cards like Puff Cap Peddler or AVA Achiever are basically perfect for this. Peddler creates 3 Puff Caps whenever you cast a spell, and AVA plants 3 traps when summoned all round end. Additionally, it also doubles the effect of traps, making AVA a bit of a trap boss card. It's also encouraged to let your opponent draw more cards than normal, so they can trigger more traps. So cards like Hextor Foundry or Aloof Travelers are going to be great at doing this, whilst also giving you the card draw that you need to do your combos. Hexcore means both players draw 1 on the round start, and Aloof Travelers mean both players draw when it's summoned, and you discard the highest cost card in each hand. And finally you have the win conditions, Teemo and Caitlyn. Leveled Teemo doubles the number of poison Puff Caps in the enemy deck, and leveled Caitlyn plants 4 Flash Bomb traps on strike and deals damage to the opposing Nexus equal to the traps activated this round. So overall this deck is going to be really fun to play and explores the trap mechanic, which was, to be honest, forgotten. This is Lucian Poppy and features cards primarily from Demacia, but with lots of support from Bandle City too. This deck has a lot of cards with low mana cost, with not a single card costing more than 4 mana. It's also extremely budget to build, with 25 commons and not a single epic card needed. There's not actually much going on in this deck, simply go wide, meaning lots of cards on the side of the field, and attack, attack, attack. Both Lucian with his leveled up rally effect and Poppy with her attack activated effect thrive on attacks. Leveled Lucian rallies, meaning you get attacking again when an ally dies, and Poppy grants all allies with equal or less power 1 damage and 1 health when she attacks. There is a sub-theme of buffing smaller units in this card, so think cards like Yordle Smith, who gives all allies with equal or less power quick attack this round. So link that to Poppy with the effect we've just discussed, and there's some nice sub-synergy going on here with the attack theme. This deck is full of efficient units like Grizzled Ranger or Stone Stackers. Grizzled Ranger provides great value with Scout and his Last Breath effect, and Stone Stackers has Fury and Impact, meaning it will last a long time on the battlefield and deal lots of damage for a 2 mana costing card. As for spells, you're looking for board protection like Ranger's Resolve or combat tricks like Sharp Sight. Ranger's Resolve grants all allies tough for the round, and Sharp Sight grants an ally 2/2, meaning it can also block as Elusives. So if you target this 2/2 on a card like Poppy, obviously Poppy's effect activates for all allies with power equal or less than hers, so if she's got higher power then more units are going to benefit from this ability, so this is where the combos and synergy links in here. This is Fizz, Nami, Elusives and features a mix of cards for Iona and Bilgewater. It's basically followers and champs from Bilgewater and spells from Iona. There's a lot of high costing cards for an aggro deck with a big range of cards costing all the way from 0 to 5 mana. It's quite an expensive deck to build as well with 6 epic cards needed. This deck is complete madness. It can get to a level of uninteractivity which can be pretty much frustrating for your opponent. It's basically another iteration of the infamous combo aggro archetype which we all love and hate. The idea behind this deck is to slap a Fizz on the board and start buffing it with Nami and protect it like there's no tomorrow. Fizz gains elusive and can't be targeted by spells when you cast a spell, so link this with Nami who grants 1 damage to the weakest ally when you cast a spell. You can quickly see how this kind of combo builds up over time. If Nami or Fizz are unavailable, with the rest of Elusives your opponent is going to slowly die as he's unable to block all your units. So Zap, Spray Fin and Morai Songstress are 2 of the cards that work well around the elusive keyword in this deck here. This deck contains plenty of protective spells as well, like Notify and Deny, meaning your elusives will be remaining on the board for a long time. So overall this deck can kind of either fail miserably or can be unstoppable, and it's meant for ones that kind of really like to risk it and climb the ladder. So if you like risks, this is the deck for you. This is Veigar Senna Control and features a mix of cards from Shadow Isles and Bandle City. Like many control decks, it's got a lot of cards with high mana costs, with 18 costing 5 or more mana. It's a medium deck with only 3 epic cards needed. The idea behind this deck is to control the board to survive long enough until you can trigger some Darkness to level up Veigar, and after that slowly win thanks to him. Darkness is a spell that simply deals damage to an enemy. Various spells and follows can increase the amount of damage it deals, and Veigar levels up around Darkness damage. The deck has several cards that revolve around Darkness, including Twisted Catalyzer, which increases Darkness damage everywhere on strike, and Stilted Roadmaker, which reduces the cost of Darkness everywhere when summoned by 1. Luckily enough, Darkness will help you do this. It's always going to be constantly in kind of generating value and obviously destroying enemies itself, so it's not just like it's some awful kind of win goal, it's actually helping you out along the way too. The rest of the deck consists of control tools such as Withering Wail to keep your Nexus healthy, or Vengeance to take out your opponent's key units. So overall this deck is ideal kind of for control kind of value style, meaning for players who like to have their hand and board full whilst their opponents are empty and kind of just basically have control of the game as the name suggests. This is Sion Viego Midrange and features cards primarily from Shadow Isles with some aggro support from Noxus 2, including the one and only Sion. It's a unique mid-range deck with lots of cards costing 7 or more mana. It's medium budget with 3 epic cards needed. This is one of the strangest decks I think I've ever reviewed. It's a mid-range deck based around spells and removal, which act as a payoff to get a ton of power and value and lots of rallies. The idea behind this deck is to summon lots of Encroaching Wrists which will fuel the Sion level up. Encroaching Mist can be summoned by a few cards in the deck, but mainly by Viego. When summoned, all allied Viegos and Encroaching Mist gain 1/1 power and health, and the power of this will kind of quickly help you reach that kind of target 35 plus power that Sion needs to level up, when you can basically win with sheer power and overwhelm with kind of big dash. Think almost like the old OG kind of Darius style, but even more powerful. After that, you can get a lot of value with stuff like Chronicle of the Ruin or the Rekindler, summoning back Sion and allowing you to attack lots of times. So with Chronicle of the Ruin you can activate the Last Breath effect, so if you target Sion to die when Chronicle of the Ruin is summoned, this is going to activate Sion's leveled up card effect, where you'll get a Sion returned, and also the effect will generate another leveled up Sion card, so basically going to get 2 Sions on the field at once. It's basically a good game. To accomplish this you need to slay units, and removals have a lot to do with that, and that's why we run a lot of them in this deck. So helping us keep up with the tempo whilst also developing our game plan. So your removals include cards like Black Spear or Calling Strike, so overall a very interesting deck, definitely worth trying in my opinion. And there we go guys, what do you think to these new decks? I've tried to include as many of the new champions as possible. Unfortunately though, not all the new champions are competitive, so some have sadly been left off the list. For example, Xerath, a champion I love, really interesting playstyle, but just not competitive, and it's not going to make this top 5. But hopefully in future videos I will be reviewing some of these newer champs, so stay tuned if you want to see these. The data presented here is analysed by BomberTV using MOBA analytics. He's a Masters tier player with a background in game theory and game design. He took the most winning archetypes into Master Tier, excluding ones with small play rates, analysed their key properties on why they are so strong. Link to his channel is in a pinned comment and in the card above.
What do you think is the best deck right now? I would love to hear in the comments.
Up next is Top 10 Decks Patch 2.14, taking a look at the top 10 decks in the current patch with all these new champions and cards released. So we're going to actually do a bit of a meta-analysis. Obviously the decks on this video are based on what Bomber and I think will be competitive without any actual data. I've recently set up an Instagram account, @LoreGuides, and I'll be doing a giveaway shortly. Please follow this account for see posts about new videos, and we'll be in a chance of winning this giveaway. Please remember to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications too. See you next time, guys.